Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Well, we're going to talk about not alpha males,
No,
it's alpha
alpha
gals.
gals.
They're different. They're the alpha gals.
Yeah, they're
So
they're meaty.
they're kind of meaty. They got a lot of meat on their bones, those
Yeah.
alpha gals. So we're going to talk about alpha gal today because now you can just get a tick bite and never want to eat meat again.
I know. We've kind of touched on this subject a little bit before, but I I don't really think that it's a coincidence that Bill Gates is involved in ticks, and he's also involved in um, telling us to stop eating meat, and also happens to be deeply invested in otherwise, other words, owns fake meat companies.
Impossible and beyond.
Yeah, and all the while this is happening, there happens to be this new syndrome that is causing people to not be able to eat meat.
Yeah.
And it seems like
It's all just
it's like a
happenstance.
perfect storm. It's like all these things just lining up so that people, so they're trying to like tell us that we shouldn't be eating meat. We should eat fake meat
You should eat crickets.
and just be happy like that. And then I guess if you don't want to choose that, they're just going to force that on some people by like if you get bit by one of these ticks,
Now you
you're
just break out in hives when you eat.
yeah, now
So
you
you'll have to
can't
eat.
you
You'll have
can't
to
eat
eat.
meat.
Yeah.
You have no choice. You just
You're
can't.
gonna have to just eat grains and crickets,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have to have pinto beans.
Pinto beef.
And that's what you're gonna live off
So
of.
can you imagine like you're like a, you know, you're a healthy carnivorous man
Yeah.
and you like to have a steak like a couple times a week maybe, and now all of a sudden like you literally cannot eat meat because
Some tick bit you.
some tick bit you that has this alpha gal syndrome thing in it, and it can cause gnarly effects. Like they were saying that some people um the symptoms vary, but some people get anaphylactic shock, and like they literally like they could die. They could actually die from this if they eat meat.
Totally.
So it's gnarly.
But it's all genetically modified.
Right.
That's the problem.
And that's the rabbit hole we're going to go down.
The rabbit hole we're going down today is kind of reverting back to, remember when he went out to the island
Yeah,
and we did the episode?
people should listen to that one.
And what
Is
happened when he went out there?
Mother Nature being micromanaged?
That's right.
That's what all this stems from. Well, when I went out there, I noticed that there was this one big raven who had a big blue tag on its wing. And the tour guide
Oh,
said
it was on his wing?
it
I
was on
thought it
his
was on
wing.
his beak.
No, it was on his wing. And the tour guide said, "That's a bad bird.
That's an invasive species.
That's a bad bird." And then she proceeded to tell us that, there were all these animals that were brought to the islands that they decided they didn't want there anymore. And there was a certain bird that was on the islands that they didn't want there, and but this bad bird was eating the eggs of those birds, and they didn't want that the other birds to learn that bad behavior from that bird. But I thought that was kind of didn't really
Well,
make
that's
sense.
natural.
It's
I mean,
natural.
birds eating other birds' eggs is kind of a natural thing.
Yeah, and
Like hawks do that.
I thought okay, you don't want those other birds here, so wouldn't the eating of the eggs be a good thing? You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Because it's kind of seems to me like Mother Nature's trying to fix the problem for you.
yeah.
But they were like, no, we got to ship this bad bird off the islands because he's got bad behavior. But actually, his bad behavior was actually helping their situation
Which
that they
goes to
wanted to
show,
fix.
we've talked about this. They have this mental virus called I need to
Micromanage.
micromanage everybody and
Yeah.
everything.
And that seems to be like the root of a lot of these problems with that side of the the
That's a huge phenomenon.
yeah,
Micromanagement is a
micromanagement.
huge phenomenon. It's people constantly telling me what to do. Like, remember the dude when I went to go buy weed? And he was like, "Sir, can you move over 2 feet? Because the line is actually here." And there's nobody else in the place. I'm just waiting for this one, like, retarded girl behind the counter to finish selling the
She's
joint to
probably
the dude.
stoned.
Yeah, she's totally stoned, and she's trying to sell this stoner a joint, and their transaction's taking forever. But I'm just sitting there waiting, and this fat, dumpy security guard comes up, and he's like, "Sir, you need to stand over here." And he's
2 feet,
pointing two
two
feet
feet
away.
away.
And I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because the line is over here."
You're like, what line?
Dude, there's no one else in line, bro. I'm just waiting. And he's like, "Sir, can you please move?" And I go, "No, I'm not gonna."
Well,
And then he got really upset, like
because you weren't
he
being
would he
micromanaged.
got flushed,
Ugh.
like red in the face that I wouldn't just move the 2 feet.
Yeah,
And it was a matter of principle because I'm not gonna be micromanaged,
yeah.
especially irrational
It,
micromanagement.
most of it is irrational, and this is a big problem because they want to micromanage everything down to like Mother Nature. You know, they're micromanaging the animals and the invasive species of plants and stuff like that. And
First of all, let's unpack that.
yeah,
Invasive species. You're determining that that species is invasive. Mother Nature has created that species.
yeah, and somehow it ended up there.
It somehow ended up there. Now, maybe man brought it there, maybe not, but whatever. People,
If it's thriving, then
dude,
what's the problem?
it's like Bill Gates going, "We're gonna put particulate into the atmosphere to deflect the sun."
Yeah.
These people who think that Mother Nature is not adequate to take care of herself, we need to
Yes,
intervene.
exactly. Yeah, and Bill Gates talking about the cows emitting 6% of the emissions of the carbon.
They comprise six
Six
percent of the
percent.
methane in the atmosphere. It's
Yeah,
like, well,
he
Bill,
measured that, and he knows it's
dude,
6%.
that's kind of like that star is 10,000 light years away.
Yeah,
It,
I measured it.
dude, I don't care, man. You throw out that crap, that's just a bunch of like hooey. It's a bunch of hooey.
Totally.
So that's kind of pertaining to this episode because now, because of their micromanagement, you can get bit by a tick and get alpha gal.
Yeah, that's just like it's like the syndrome du jour, I'm gonna say, because they're always coming up with some new
It
like
reminds me of that Pink Floyd
disease.
song. You ever heard that song? It goes, "Ooh, I need a dirty woman. Ooh, I need an alpha gal."
Oh no.
That's what he's singing now,
Oh
dude. He's
God.
like, "I need alpha gal, dude." Because, dude, why does alpha gal exist? Alpha gal is not a natural occurring phenomena.
Yeah.
Natural gal is a
Alpha.
genetically modified tick that now, when it bites you, you become allergic to meat. And that was intentionally done by Bill Gates
Yeah,
because he wants everyone to eat his impossible meat.
right.
So that's a perfect example of this micromanagement gene that's in these elites is ruining the entire world.
They always got to get their hands in everything and like
Totally.
they just mess everything up and they create all these other problems.
Kind of like Caltrans. I've noticed Caltrans is kind of doing that right now.
Oh yeah.
Like there's construction going on freaking everywhere, but everything still kind of sucks.
Hmm.
It's almost like they're just meddling,
Well,
but it's not in our best
do you
interest.
ever watch those work sites though? It's like they stop traffic in both directions and
Totally.
they've got one guy that his whole job is just to hold the stop sign and he's like got a walkie-talkie talking to the other guy on the other end
Yeah.
and he's probably getting paid like, $100,000 a year to do this,
Totally. And
and
he's fat and he's got tattoos on his face and he's
y-
from some third world hellhole.
yeah, and they all stand around there. Oh, it's like it looks like they're always like taking breaks. So
When you get past him, like he goes, okay, come on, and you drive past the actual work site, there's always four dudes standing there and one
like
dude like
staring.
slowly shoveling.
Yeah, there's like four dudes standing there staring at the hole that one dude is shoveling. It's like how many Polacks does it take to screw in a light bulb?
That's right.
And then
It
like
takes 100.
and
It
then
takes one to hold the light bulb and 99 to turn the house.
yeah, and then it's like that. And then there's like 10 other guys sitting like off to the side under a shady tree,
Just chilling,
just waiting for
making so
whatever.
much money from all of our tax-paying money,
Yeah,
and just like still the roads suck. My point is that they just do all this like meddling.
yeah,
That's all everybody does.
meddling
Their influence is not beneficial. It's actually the opposite. It's actually like totally toxic, and it's a liability. All of their meddling is a liability.
for sure.
So that's what this whole story is.
Yeah,
Because of Bill Gates meddling, now that dude, he was taking pictures. Do you see the pictures of the guy?
a guy that had alpha gal syndrome.
Yeah,
No.
they had a picture.
Uh-huh.
Dude is pretty gnarly. So like he's like a millennial and he's all fuck ticks, dude. Why did God make fucking ticks, dude? Look at my neck. And they show his neck. His neck is gnarly, dude. It's got like this big blotchy rash and it's all over his face.
Oh.
And he like had a burger after he got bit by a tick. And he's like, what the fuck, bro?
And now he's going to be forced to be like a vegan.
I mean, think about the dramatic change.
Yeah.
Because I eat red meat probably once a day. I mean,
Wow.
I had meat yesterday. Yesterday, I had a burger. I had a burger that would have given me alpha gal.
Yeah. You'd have to go eat impossible meat
So
or
lame, dude.
crickets.
Like, I don't know if I could get the proper nutrition if I just became allergic to red meat. I
Hmm.
would have to, dude, I would have to really like go get a nutritionist to work with me, and I'd say I can't eat red meat anymore. How can I get the requisite nutrition?
Yeah.
I would have to like modify my diet because you can't just go and just eat fries. You'll look like that one vegan chick who's just like, I feel great.
She was dead like the next day.
I'm a vegan. I'm a vegan influencer. And she looked like somebody who just escaped from Auschwitz. That
If that was even a thing.
was a You're gonna get us banned,
I
Butterfly, if you
know.
start talking
Yeah.
like that.
I'm bad for
Trump's
airborne disease.
anti-Semitism czar is gonna go, excuse me, did you just question the fact that Auschwitz was a concentration camp? Yeah,
I just have questions, and I know we're not allowed to have those, but I have a few.
those might have been people from the Holodomor. That's what remember what was that documentary I watched, Europa?
Yeah.
In Europa they said Hitler was actually a great guy. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't believe that either. I believe he was a psychopath.
Yeah.
At the same time, they said, which could make sense, the Holodomor was when Stalin went and just wouldn't let anybody touch the grain,
Uh-huh.
and then 20 million Christians died of starvation.
Yeah.
But some of them escaped to Germany, and by the time they got to Germany, a lot of them had lice, so they shaved their heads, and they were emaciated because they weren't able to get grain from Stalin. So they were emaciated and had shaved heads, and all those images that we saw was that. It
Wow.
wasn't Jews that got treated like shit.
Wow.
So
Well, and I remember, I don't know if it was in that or I think it was in this guy wrote a whole encyclopedia about the whole thing and
oh, I saw him on
Stu
on
Peters.
Stew.
Yeah, and he was showing how those chambers like never could have possibly have been gas chambers. Like it wouldn't have worked. Like
I
the
love how you just question that, dude. I go that influencer looked like she just escaped from Auschwitz. You're like, if that if that.
Do you see where my mind goes with everything?
Well, it's like,
I'm so
it's kind of
bad.
like if you're listening to old Blue Eyes Frank Sinatra and he's going, "Fly me to the moon," and you're going like that exists.
You mean Fly Me to See Me Valley?
Fly me to see me, Valley.
That sound is good.
You might get bit by a tick.
I know, you probably will,
Although
actually.
these Lone Star ticks are not in Cali, they said.
No, they
Got
are. I
no.
thought they were. No?
Well, Chat
Oh,
GPT,
they're on the East Coast.
yeah, they're
Yeah, they're like
East,
New
Midwest,
Jersey.
Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, New Jersey definitely got them. I've had them land on me when I lived there, and they're gnarly.
Well, I'm sure they're probably working on doing something to infect the California ticks. I
Totally.
remember when I was a kid, I had a serious, like, deathly, deathly fear of ticks because there was
They're
this,
gross.
they're gross, and there was this whole thing. This was probably total fear mongering too, but it traumatized me. They were saying that Rocky Mountain spotted ticks were like, they were out there and they were giving people Rocky Mountain spotted fever. It was like this
Rocky
deadly
Mountain
dangerous
Way.
thing. And I was scared to death that I was going to get bit by a Rocky Mountain spotted tick. So maybe they're going to infect the Rocky Mountain spotted ticks with this alpha gal syndrome too.
Totally. Like when I go walking now, I go hiking a lot. I wear pants every time.
Yeah.
Wear long pants with where your cuff goes over your shoe so they can't get in your shoe. And then even some people wear long sleeves. Even if it's hot, just wear a long sleeve shirt. That's the best thing to
You
do.
know what's gross? The ticks are really gross. I had
They can burrow.
yeah, I had a couple of ticks on me recently. It's weird. Like at my house, and I don't even know where they came from, but I just felt like something crawling on me, and I was like, that's weird. Like I could feel it crawling on me. And I like grabbed it thinking like, oh, it's a spider, and it was a tick.
Ugh.
And another time I had there was one crawling on my leg, and like I had like leggings on, but it was like I couldn't brush it off. I thought it was a spider and I kept like brushing at it,
Ugh.
and it's like they kind of cling to you, and you can't just like flick them off. They're like clinging. And then but I guess what they do is they burrow in. So I don't know if
Burrowing down in there.
I don't know if it's like the initial bite that like causes the problems. It might be, but they don't just like bite you and then they're gone like a mosquito. They like bury into you and they like want to be under the skin sucking your blood, so they get bigger and bigger. That's why like they get on
So
animals
gross.
and like blow up, they get really bloated because they're full of blood and stuff.
So
It's
gross.
such a disgusting creature. I don't know why we even have. You know what? They were probably like created in a lab.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
They're
Like some mad scientist probably came up with those.
like in nature, they probably are scarce, but now they're becoming more and more prevalent, and they're doing that on purpose because they do that. Through their meddling, they create problems that they have the solutions for.
Exactly. So one of their meddling things that they're working on now, um, Google is actually involved with this, which is odd. Um,
Well, see, Google and Bill Gates,
yeah,
they
they're
start
they're
off
very
in
similar.
computers
Yeah,
and then
it's
expand to like medical realms.
exactly.
I don't
So
see that.
why are we merging big tech with biology?
I give zero credence to them.
Yeah, I mean, that is like stay in your lane. You know what I mean? Like, why are you now involved in like this whole thing? But
Well, it comes back to that megalomaniac gene,
uh-huh.
it's like
Megalomaniac gene for sure.
totally.
Yeah, they're megalomaniacs. So they're just like Bill Gates, he was a computer nerd supposedly, and now he's like ruling like our health policies and stuff and dimming the sun and, cleaning poop water. So
You can
Google
actually drink poop water. And then he takes a little
you
sip.
you go drink your toilet water, dude.
The sip that he takes in that stupid video is so stupid. So he just the water barely touches his lips and he goes, see?
See, it's delicious.
It's delicious. I couldn't even have been sickened by that polluted water because I barely took a little sip, but it's good.
So Google is releasing all of these mosquitoes that
That are genetically
that
modified.
are genetically modified, and they say that they have this Wolbachia bacteria, which is the when the males that have that mate with the females, the eggs don't like hatch properly. Like they can't reproduce
And it
properly.
reduces the population.
And so that's the theory, is that it would reduce the population. But now they coincidentally are also selling subscriptions to pest control.
Yep.
Interesting, right? How they would like create this like mosquito situation and then like create a solution for that.
Exactly.
So I don't really buy that these mosquitoes that they're releasing are just completely harmless and they're gonna like
No,
fix the
they're just
situation.
the alpha gal.
Yeah. I think,
They're alpha gals.
yeah, and it's also interesting,
Or they give you Zika.
Zika. Yeah.
Zika's right, genetically modified.
Yeah.
It's probably some disease that they came up with in a BSL-4 lab and
Right.
figured out how to give it to mosquitoes.
Yeah. So Google went from digital pest control, which we learned is like
Digital pest control,
which is
like
like
what they do with us.
what they do with us. They
You
shadow
guys are saying
ban.
words we don't like,
Yeah.
so we're just going to antiseptically kind of like neutralize you.
We're gonna pest control you because
Yeah,
you're a pest.
yeah. We're going to put down some poison.
So they went from that digital pest control of debugging to actual like literal pest control and debugging of,
Ooh, that's kind of,
you know,
I like that idea of what we are. We're a bug.
we're a bug.
Like, remember they used to say there's a bug in the system and the
Hmm.
bug would corrupt the entire system. I want to be that. I want to be the bug that corrupts this entire system.
Yeah,
But they're
totally.
like, but that is why we debug.
So here's the question though. At what point does disease prevention become ecosystem management?
That's what ChatGPT put forth.
Yeah.
He's like, here, check
Well,
this
this
out.
is exactly what triple M to the P is. They micromanage Mother Nature to supposedly, prevent disease or invasive species.
That
Or
bird is invasive
yeah,
and
he's a
he's
bad
doing.
bird
And you go, well, wait, he's eating those eggs. You guys are eradicating those birds anyways. Yeah, but we want to eradicate it in
in
our
our
way.
way. Yeah.
Mm.
So, in other words, what they're doing all the time is they're um, managing ecosystems and they're managing Mother Nature. And when actually, can't Mother Nature manage herself? Like,
Totally.
hasn't Mother Nature managed herself for many, many millennia? You know,
All these lesbians, dude.
they all want to be.
Love it.
They want to be Mother Nature,
Totally.
right?
They just have to meddle with everybody else. Like, dude, just manage your own, like manage your pubes. Just take care of those. Don't be managing everybody's islands and everybody's like, dude, that's kind of what my sister does at Caltrans.
I
You like go
know.
and micromanage like, well, there's this frog that lives here, so you're not going to be able to build the road here,
Yeah,
you
because of the
know.
frog.
Well, the frog has to move or die. No, that frog is protected. So we're gonna have to go ahead and move the road like 50 miles around this hill now.
Yeah.
You know?
Or even 5 miles, but it's going to cost the taxpayer dollars like $20 billion.
And just kind of like the dude at the pot shop, if you disagree with them or you don't obey them, they get enraged
You
because
refuse
they're
to be
psychopaths.
micromanaged.
Because that's
Yeah.
one thing. Micromanagers, they're also psychopaths.
They're triple M's to the P. We talk about this a lot.
Hmm.
Mini megalomaniac,
Psychopath
psychopath
micromanagers.
micromanagers.
They're psychopath micromanagers. So not only are they meddling, but they're psychopaths. And what happens with psychopaths is if you defy them, they want to kill you.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
So you go, no, I don't want to do that. And they go, you have to die for that.
Yeah.
You go along with all of my
Or
micromanagement or you die.
or they at least want to ruin your day.
Totally.
They'll go out of their way to ruin your day.
Like Bill Gates was genuinely flabbergasted that every human on Earth did take the vaccines.
I know.
He was like, everyone's going to take this. I don't know what you guys are thinking.
Yeah.
Everyone on Earth needs to take my shot.
Yeah. This computer nerd,
He was
Sean.
like flabbergasted, like, I can't believe some people are saying no to this. It's like, well, dude, you're a psychopath.
You said on film that you're trying to reduce the population by through healthcare and vaccines. So that's probably
We
one
can
of
knock this
that's
number
one of the
way
reasons.
down. Totally. That's the other thing too, is we have to collectively push back against this because they can't control themselves.
Right.
So
They
when you
can't help themselves.
no, like when you have a 4-year-old that is in the grocery store, and like my daughter when she was like 3 and 4, I would push her through on the cart and she would put both hands out and she
Trying
would
to
be trying to just grab
reach
any
something
product that I can
on
touch,
either side of the aisle.
you know?
Oh
So
my God.
when somebody's like that, you have to push back on them because they're going to keep trying to grab products.
Yeah.
So you have to say, no, no, no. You're in the middle of the lane. You don't
Yeah.
get to grab any products.
That's why we walk down the middle.
That's why we walk down the middle. Even like people have to go around us because I can't even push you to either side because she'll just grab Pop Tarts and start putting them in there.
Right? But you get up to the checkout and there's like all this random
Well,
stuff.
that's why I learned it because I'd go grab a product and I'd come back and there'd be like pickles and olive oil and I'd be like, "What happened?" And she's like, "We're gonna get these." And I go, "No." But see, that's what you have to do with Bill
I
Gates.
know.
He wants to keep grabbing products.
I've been walking my puppy down the middle of the road lately because she wants to sniff
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
And if I go down one side, she wants to sniff, and if I go down the other side, she wants to sniff. And I hate
See,
to keep telling her no sniffing because I know she likes it, but it's interrupted.
but she can't really control herself. She's
Yeah,
just gonna sniff, sniff, sniff.
yeah,
So that's kind of what these triple M's of the P. They can't control themselves.
no,
They're kind of like a dog.
yeah,
They're kind of like a dog.
yeah,
They're kind of like a dog that you ever heard that term like a dog will feed until it suffers?
yeah,
If you keep giving a dog food, it'll just keep eating until it like
like a
literally gets
goldfish.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah. So these people I think are like dogs that can't stop themselves. So you have to stop them.
yeah.
We
We
have
have to
to
stop them.
we have to stop
Totally,
megalomaniacs.
totally.
Because look at what they're doing. They're creating ticks that make you allergic to meat.
Yeah, so you'll have to be forced to eat their fake meat.
Plus, I think there's probably an antidote like they could give, but
I
they
bet.
don't. There's
Yeah.
probably like a
I
shot they could give that dude to go away like that.
I bet there's an antidote to everything. And it's weird. I remember during the cooties, I remember somebody talking about, I think it was yes, this guy called in to Alex Jones. And I mean this could all be totally fake too, but it
Some
sounded
of them sound
it
real.
sounded real. He called in and said that or maybe it was a lady. I think it was a lady. Her friend um was a waiter at one of these like big, like exclusive dinners where the elites were.
Mm,
And
overheard.
well, at one point, what they did was people came out with trays of these like shots and they all got injected with something. And she thought it was like an antidote for whatever the cooties stuff was.
Mm,
So I think it's possible that when they release some of these weird things, they've got an antidote that they know about and they save
total,
it for themselves, you know?
total. They got an antidote to this. Like, how many of those elites go hiking out by like, Martha's Vineyard or
Yeah.
whatever,
And
get bit by a tick.
they're not afraid of it.
They're like, no
I haven't
problem.
heard about any of them getting alpha gal syndrome.
No.
They discuss these ways of saving the world over like, $300 steak dinners at some fancy restaurant, you
Although
know?
Katy Perry got Guillain-Barré in her eye twitch.
Yeah, but see, I think people like her are they're not at the top. They're puppets, and I think a lot of them actually probably really did get the real vaccines,
Totally.
you
She's
know?
kind of a victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't be surprised if like a lot of this stuff, like even maybe the alpha gal thing could be a side effect of vaccines and it's damage control because, hantavirus was listed as one of the side effects of the cooties vaccine.
Yes.
And I think what they do is they do damage control and they come up with these diseases that people are getting like Marburg and Ebola and actually what those really are are side effects of some other big shawarma product that they gave you. So they can say, oh, that's not a side effect. It's a new disease. And now here's another pokey poke to
That's
help you,
true.
you know?
Like, these modified ticks are probably real.
Hmm.
Google probably did modify some mosquitoes, and these modified ticks that make you allergic to meat are probably real, but they don't acknowledge that you have to have gotten the vaccine in order for it to
Take
give you that
effect.
allergic.
Yeah.
Remember the other thing too about this one, I told you about that chiropractor and allergy specialist that my daughter went to and got cured of
Yeah.
her allergy. And that's real. And that can work for this guy,
Mm.
you know, because remember they said it was something in the meat that causes the allergy.
What was the allergy that your daughter had?
Milk.
Milk.
So she was so they take lactose.
Yeah.
That's what people get allergic to in milk, and they tape it onto her arm for the whole night, and then she comes back the next day, and then he goes down her spine with this little tool, and then she puts her arm out, and he goes, "Push your arm down." And if he can push her arm down real easily, then she's still allergic. But if your arm stays up, then I don't know how it works.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But she got reset when she was 3 years old. She's 18 now. She's never had a milk allergy since then.
That's
15 years.
wow. And
Crazy.
what happened? Did it upset her stomach or
Well, you mean
what was the allergic reaction?
she got red blotches all over her body?
Oh,
Little red dots.
wow.
Looked like she had chicken pox.
And see, I bet you that there's something in the grocery store milk, like the lactose, that is not natural because I don't think it's natural the way they process, like pasteurize and all that stuff, the milk. I don't think that's like how our bodies are supposed to be ingesting that stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Totally.
I think that we are supposed to be, drinking like our mother's milk as babies and then probably, just drinking milk straight from the animal, not like after it's been processed through all.
Homogenized.
Yeah,
Remember, I always used to ask my mom, like, what is homogenized? And she was like, it's just a process. And I was like, well, that doesn't really answer the question adequately.
nobody really knows. And people don't question it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
because homogenized means like everything is made the same.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
so
like mixed in.
now there's a lot of people who say that they have gluten allergies, which I think that's a trendy thing now too, that people are like, I'm gluten free.
I
And I don't think most of them are, but I think some people legitimately probably do have an allergy. But what I've read is that most people don't really have a gluten allergy. They have a reaction to the glyophosphates that are sprayed on the wheat crops, and
Yep.
that's what causes the problems.
Yep.
And like a lot of people say that when they go to Europe or some other country where they're eating like cleaner bread,
Yeah.
or if you eat like organic, you might not have the problem. But a lot of people say when they eat those cleaner breads, they don't have the issues. But it's the not necessarily the gluten in the wheat, but it's the pesticides and all the crap that they spray on it.
And that's like
And
we've talked
so
about how when you go cruise around in this area, there's a lot of agra, and you'll see them squirting off the strawberries, and the dude's walking around
in a
like
hazmat suit.
totally.
And then we're eating that.
He's full on in a spacesuit,
Yeah.
and he's like, "There's no, it's airtight." And if you had to put that on to squirt my strawberries,
I
bro,
don't want to eat
what the
those.
hell?
Yeah. So this kind of brings it back to the whole point, which is that it's all micromanaged. And if we just let things be more natural, it'd probably be a lot safer and healthier,
I think
you
that
know?
they probably have ways of doing pesticides completely efficiently and healthily, but they don't want us to have it.
No.
It's part of that technology that they don't let us have.
Yeah.
They probably have perfect pesticides that have no side effects and totally work effectively, but they're like, we don't want them to have that.
No, they probably have that for
They
themselves.
have that for themselves.
Yeah. It's funny because like um all of this stuff like in nature, it sounds very sci-fi, like the ticks that are causing like these
Alpha
disease,
gal.
alpha gal, the mosquitoes causing the Zika. All of these things sound so sci-fi, but the reason why they're sci-fi is because of the micromanagement.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
if it was just natural, I don't think it would be sci-fi.
not
I
at
don't
all.
think these syndromes and these things would be happening, you know?
No, because there's after effects of crap that we've done 50 years ago that we're
Yeah.
dealing with now.
Well, yeah, so remember DDT?
Totally.
That was when was that being done? Was that
80s,
no, no, no. I
maybe
think it
earlier,
was like
the
maybe the
60s.
50s or earlier.
I know
Um
that when I went out to Catalina, we took the tour of Catalina, and you get in the like in a forerunner, and they drove us around the whole island. And she was talking about how pelicans almost went extinct because of DDT,
uh-huh.
because their eggs weren't surviving.
Well, I've seen pictures of like teachers spraying DDT on the little kids in the classroom because they thought it would get rid of like the bugs. So
Yeah,
they would actually spray the little kids and they were spraying all the crops and that I believe that was happening in the 50s. And that's when there was a big uh push for like polio vaccines vaccines. And I've read that actually the whole polio thing was
the
a,
vaccine.
a symptom of DDT poisoning.
Mm.
Because it was you were being poisoned through like the runoffs on the water and the crops and everything and being sprayed with DDT and it caused paralysis and all of
There
these
was a
things.
bunch of stuff like
So
that back in the
so
day.
that was DDT poisoning and then they came out with the vaccine because they were like, look, we're going to cure this when actually I think it was already sort of going away by that point, but people were terrified and they were like, "Oh, we've got to get this
That's a good
pokey
point.
poke."
That's a good point. And the other point is when you're seeing weird shit like alpha Gale syndrome coming out of ticks, and obviously this is genetically modified. They don't even hide it. But when you see weird phenomena coming out of Mother Nature, it totally could be that it's from back in the 1950s.
Yeah.
Fucked up shit they were doing
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah. I mean, look at how they are working on stuff like way before we know about it. So like we've brought this up before, but remember on the cover of Time magazine in 1971, the guy that said that human cloning was real and it
Mhm.
was going to be a huge problem in the future. That was over 50 years ago. So I'm pretty sure that they've probably perfected it by now. And
Now, I mean, a lot of people could be clones.
yeah, and
50 years.
now they're talking about AI is everywhere and we see it, but that means that it was probably being used 50 years ago, or it was like they were developing it,
Totally.
you know? So there very well could be diseases and like weird genetically modified things that they were doing 50 years ago that we're just now seeing like the effects of, or that is it's becoming obvious to us.
Plus, every baby that's born, they put a bunch of shots in them immediately.
It's so scary.
So what if those shots that they're putting in babies make them kind of like
Have all these
you're
problems.
susceptible now?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
so they're like, good, good, good.
You're
Welcome to
genetically
Earth.
modified.
We're gonna make you susceptible to our weapons that we put out there waiting for you.
Yeah. The whole idea that you need to be injected with a bunch of stuff in order to like survive this place is kind of crazy, right? I mean,
That's what they want you to believe.
they want
Like your immune system is inadequate.
yeah.
You need to take our shots.
Hmm.
Yeah,
How did people live before?
exactly.
People, but I could just see like people saying, well, there weren't all those diseases before. But yeah, I mean, they made the diseases, but I'm pretty sure that we could survive those. I don't think we need to like take all those pokey pokes.
I know. I definitely. That's what I told people during cooties. I was like, my immune system can beat this. Weren't we watching something that was talking about back in the day, they were modifying things and now we're dealing with the after effects. I can't remember, but we're constantly dealing with the after effects of things that they did a long time ago.
Yeah, we're dealing with you know, this sci-fi reality in nature because of their micromanaging, because of what they do to it.
Totally.
And it's the same issue with all of this stuff. They just have this need, this desire. They're such megalomaniacs that they have to like get their hands in everything and meddle. They have to meddle and they just mess everything up, and then we have to deal with the aftermath of their meddling.
And then they act like, oh, well, that's just a naturally occurring thing.
Yeah.
But no, this is what you did to me, and then now I got to take your pokey pokey in order to,
And then they come up with like their solution to the problem, you know.
So I think we've got a lot of natural problems right now that are caused by them. For instance, I don't believe in Earth mod
Yeah.
the way that they tell us,
Yeah.
but I do believe in Earth mod
Well,
because they're modifying the weather.
right.
They're
That's
using
true.
HARP
Yeah.
and they're using dews,
Yeah.
and this is not just in America. There's like 50 different countries that use that, and they're artificially modifying hurricanes, they're artificially modifying tornadoes, they're causing deluge and drought systems.
Yeah.
So they're, like you said, they're meddling,
Yeah. And
and
they
their incessant meddling is just messing everything up.
yeah, and then like we've had years of like record rainfall, and then Gavin Newsom will come out and say, "Oh, we're in a drought still." And it's like, wait, how could we still be in a drought? Like we had the most rain we've ever had this past year, you know?
He gave a lot of our fresh water, put it in the ocean.
Yeah.
You heard
You
about that?
just dumped it.
He
Yeah.
dumped it. You're like,
Yeah.
well, this is going to make us look like we're out of drought. Drought works in my favor.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. They automatically they modify the weather, and then they tell us that it's our behavior that's causing the modifications, and then they impose um,
Tyrannical.
tyrannical guidelines on how we need to deal with the weather that's been modified by them.
Right.
So that's kind of like this situation.
Yeah.
They modified the ticks, and now we got to deal with how the ticks have been modified by them by going to get our vaccines.
Yeah. And actually, the whole problem could have just never happened if they would have just left the ticks alone.
Hey, teacher, leave them ticks alone.
Yeah. Totally. What
So,
is white pill?
what is white pill? Well, so white pill is stay out of the healthcare system.
Mm,
That's always the white pill. And
okay.
this is corralling you into the healthcare
Yeah.
system, believe it or not, this alpha gal, because they're gonna say, well, yep, you've been bit by the tick, you got a meat allergy. Here, come here.
We've got a pokey poke for you.
Here.
And you're gonna be on big shawarma for the rest of your life.
No, and that's the other thing, don't take big shawarma, stay out of the medical industry, but then also educate yourself. I think we need to have whistleblowers and people coming out and saying, "Hey, what's going on with this?
Hmm.
I don't want genetically modified. I don't want genetically modified animals.
No.
I don't agree with Google, like Sergey Brin. That guy's such a freaking kook, dude. He was like literally crying when Trump got elected and telling people, "I know this is a bad day. We got Trump in there. I just want to let you know we're gonna be strong and we're gonna get through this."
Is he one of the ones that was like, I'm moving to uh where were they all gonna move to?
Oh yeah.
Russia or somewhere?
And he's such a kook, dude. I hate Google. So, it's like we got to raise our voices when, well, we're modifying mosquitoes. We're
Why?
Google.
Yeah, why? Why just stay in your lane? Like stick to Google searches, which those aren't even legit either. We were
Why is
talking
that even legal?
I know. We were talking about that, like the whole Google thing. That is like I don't know if you can call it genetically modified, but it's definitely a triple M to the P thing because with Google, they're not even allowing you to see all of what you're looking up, you know?
Totally.
So,
They artificially modify the algorithms just like they're trying to artificially modify Mother Nature.
right.
So it kind of gets back to they can't just let anything be organic.
No,
They have to meddle with everything.
you look up something and they're going to put the at the top of the search results, they're going to put what they want you to see.
That's
And when actually the thing that maybe you really needed to see might be buried way deep, like 20 pages in, but most people aren't going to go that deep. So they're they're like micromanaging like so many aspects of the stuff in our lives.
so white pill is speak up when you see that because that's how they're going to destroy our lives.
Yeah.
They're going to because what they do is they modify shit under the auspices of we're trying to help you out.
It's always we're trying to help you, or this is for your safety, or this is for your health.
Mosquito bites are causing dengue fever, so we're going to modify them so they never bite you again.
Yeah. Like how many people are getting dengue fever here in California?
It's always the auspices that they use that because what they are is they're bored and they want to figure out how they can kill us. And they're like, dude,
Let's
check
try
this out.
mosquitoes this week. This could be fun.
We can modify these mosquitoes and kill a lot of the plebs. Let's do it. Ooh. So be aware. That's another white pill is be aware and talk about stuff. That's, for this one, that's the white pill. You got to talk about stuff because if you don't talk about this stuff, no one's ever going to know. And they're just going to be able to secretly just foist it on everybody.
Totally.
Pretty soon they'll be like, well, then they didn't stop us when we did that. So, you know what it's
Yeah.
kind of like? It's like when the Indian dudes like they have a white girl that's visiting Karachi and she's going to see the temple, but she gets groped on the way. And then they go, oh, we didn't get any consequences for groping her. Well, now I'm not even going to hesitate.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of like these dudes.
It's like back to the toddler analogy. It's like if you don't set some perimeters and, say no to certain things,
Yeah,
then they just like want more next time and they expect it because they
they
know there's
expect it.
they know there's no consequences.
So that's the white pill. The white pill is do not fall for the lies that this is for your own good. Speak up, and we need to make it illegal for them to modify our Mother Nature.
Yeah,
I don't believe in genetic modification.
I don't either.
You know,
In fact, that could be a good poster for our next protest. Stop modifying Mother Nature.
stop modifying Mother Nature totally, and stop genetically modifying humans too. Like we were talking
Yeah.
about, like, what if some dude and some chick they got the vaccine and now they have sex and have a kid? Does that kid come out with genetically modified DNA now? And
Well,
is he a Moderna product?
or Pfizer. We
Maybe
were
he's Pfizer.
we were talking about that because you were telling me that there's something interesting you've been noticing in little children. A lot of them seem to be like they sort of have like this manic behavior now.
I didn't notice it. My friend noticed it with his son. His son's 3, and his son is like not getting along with a lot of other kids because some of the other, and it could be him, but it also could be some of these other kids are just out of control. They're too hyper.
And I said, this is like the first generation of kids that are being born out of uh, this generation that was genetically modified by the pokey pokes. So who knows what? Because
That's genetic
I
modification.
remember reading that the cooties pokey pokes were gene editing. That's what they were, and so they were genetically modifying people, and that if who knows how that was going to modify the genes of their offspring. So
Yeah,
that could be happening.
totally. Totally. I mean, they're doing genetic modification all the time, and they don't just do it to mosquitoes, they do it to humans.
Yeah.
We have clones. If they know how to do clones, then they know how to genetically modify things. So I think we need to maybe even just abolish genetic modification. I mean, I don't like to abolish technology completely. I think there's always benefits that can come from technology, and God gives us the wisdom and the understanding, but we have to use it ethically,
Right.
you
But
know?
see, that's where the problem is because when you have these mad scientists, they come up with these things that they can do, and some of them shouldn't be done, but they don't seem to stay. within the guidelines. You know what
They
I mean?
never do.
They kind of
All of their evil plans are always coming to
yeah,
fruition.
it's like if they can, they will, even if they shouldn't,
Yeah,
you know?
like the old Jurassic Park saying,
Right. Just
Jeff Goldblum. They spend so much time asking themselves whether or not they could. They never stop to think whether or not they should.
hmm
And I always thought that's a good point.
Yeah.
But you're never going to see them stop themselves for ethical concerns. We have to stop them.
Yeah.
We, as the people, we have to say, no, you don't genetically modify mosquitoes so that we have to deal with alpha gal syndrome. You don't go genetically modify ticks, and you don't go genetically modify humans, plants, animals, and also leave the island alone, dude. Let the island be natural. Like you went out there and it felt like a zoo,
Totally.
you know?
Yeah.
Leave the island and be natural. I want to go visit it and see the way that Mother Nature tends to it? Anything else on this one?
No, I think that was a good rabbit hole.
That was good.
Yeah.
Right. Bill Gates keeps coming up, dude.
Well, he's kind of everywhere.
He is, which is gross.
It's gross.
He's kind of like mold in your shower. It's like, dude, we gotta clean this thing. It's everywhere.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye.